Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Leslie Ladd. This is session 2 of our freezer meal workshop, and today we have lemon chicken orzo soup, tropical pineapple chicken, chicken bacon ranch casserole, and chicken stew on the menu. However, I underestimated how much chicken I needed to have available, and so I'm not preparing the chicken orzo soup today, unfortunately, because I just didn't calculate my chicken correctly when I picked it up. So we're gonna start with chicken bacon ranch casserole, because this is one that's like pre-cooked. So it's gonna go into the freezer, and when it comes out, you're just gonna have to heat it. You might find you need to add a little bit of milk to it or water to thin it if it's gotten really thick, but otherwise it should be good to go. This is one of my most popular recipes that I've ever done. And so over here. Oh yeah. So I have the pasta's already cooked and cooled. You want to make sure everything's cooled before you freeze it to keep it safe. So I just cooked this. If you tuned in last week, you'll know that I'm just doing one giant meal prep for these 3 workshop sessions because just went to Costco and I have all the meat ready, so I just wanted to get it all done. And plus, when you're doing meal prepping, I find you use less meat when you're doing 2 or 3 recipes at the same time. And so this one is a real budget-friendly recipe because you're dealing with pasta. I've got chicken and bacon in here, and I just use 1 chicken breast chopped up, 6 slices of bacon, and that goes in. And then because it's just such a yummy casserole, you can get away with a little bit less meat, a little bit more pasta. So if you're looking for a budget-friendly recipe that's really delicious, give this one a try. So then so I've got my chicken, bacon, and pasta in the bowl. Into this bowl, we're gonna put 2 cups of milk and a packet of the Alfredo seasoning. You can also use the mac and cheese if you don't have Alfredo. I just think that this Alfredo is just really yummy. Okay. And so do a lot of other people. Now, unfortunately for me, this is one of the meals I can't have. It's just too much dairy for me. I just can't handle it. I've got a dairy intolerance. And this one's like a lot of dairy. So even though I can get away with a little bit, I can't get away with a lot. So this one, what I do is I will package it up into smaller containers so that my husband can enjoy it. And then on those nights, I'm gonna have like a poke bowl or a chop salad, things that I love to have. Roasted cauliflower steak. Those are things that I love that he's not exactly fond of. And so it actually works out well. And, you know, unfortunately, well, even fortunately, depends on how you look at it. When you're dealing with food intolerances, and I'm the one dealing with food intolerances, I end up making, if not 2 meals quite often, then I'm substituting things. So like I want, potatoes, I can't have mashed potatoes if they got milk in and stuff like that. So I'm creating, even if I'm doing like grilled meat, we're both eating the same meat, I'm still doing a lot of things separate, like the vegetables and whatnot. So I really don't mind doing these meal preps so that I have stuff in the freezer that he really enjoys, these pasta dishes and stuff that I can't necessarily have, but then I can just do something that I love. Okay, so then I've got 2 cups of cheese go in there. This is just the pizza blend, shredded pizza blend. You can use a mozzarella, provolone, whatever you like. 2 cups of that, and then a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I've just got the slices here. They're like the fresh Parmesan. You can break that up a little bit. It'll melt in there too, so it doesn't really matter too much. And then we're just gonna give that a good stir. And if it seems like it's a bit dry, you can add more milk. But what I do is I kind of just freeze it with the 2 cups. And then when I take it out and it's thawed in the fridge overnight, If it looks to me like it's dry then that's when I'll add more milk. Because the pasta, even though I've cooked the pasta to al dente, it's still gonna absorb some of this. Being that it's cold, I've already cooled it, it's gonna absorb less, but it might still plump up a little bit. And then if it does, you can just add more liquid to it when you go to cook it. And so I just grabbed these Betty Crocker dishes at the dollar store, and that's what I use for my freezer meals. So I'm just gonna put that in there. Half of it, I'll do half and half. Oh, this one just smells so good. And seriously, the ranch dip is really just takes it to the next level, I promise. If you don't skip the ranch dip, because it does, it really, really does add just that extra layer of flavor that is so delicious. And of course, I'm partial to Epicure's version, but if you happen to have another brand, you know, do what you gotta do. But yeah, it's chicken, bacon, Alfredo ranch, and it is one of the most popular recipes that I've ever created. And it's a huge hit with customers. Okay, get off of there. So another bowl in the sink, and then you just put these lids on and mark them, and there you go. So these ones are just gonna come out, and you're gonna thaw them in the fridge overnight. And then depending on what size of a casserole you do, so that's gonna be, you know, 4 healthy servings with what I just did there. So if you do 1 casserole, the dish is probably too big for an air fryer. These smaller ones could go into an air fryer. I call it something different every time. It's like chicken Alfredo, bacon ranch, chicken bacon ranch Alfredo, chicken do. Whatever. We all know what it is. It's delicious. It actually is 1 pasta casserole that I've missed having because it's just so good. So yeah, so then you just take it out, thaw it overnight, bake it in the oven. It's already cooked. Everything's already cooked. So you just got to get it heated through. That cheese is going to be like yummy and melty and delicious. And that's it. Now, you can write your baking instructions right on here too. Everything's ready, especially if you watched last week's and you heard me mention that I just keep all the recipes together in a recipe book, so I just will quick glance at those. But if you want, feel free to write it right on the package, because then that way if you've got somebody else that's taking care of supper that night, they know what to do. It's easy peasy. Okay, so if you were with me last week, you saw these wonderful little contraptions that I use for my freezer meals. Your bags just slip right into those. These can come up, you have lots of room, and you're set. So now I'm going to make chicken stew. So chicken stew, I actually grabbed what I had for frozen chicken in the freezer because, like I said, I underestimated how much chicken I needed by a lot. And last week I made chicken fingers and honey garlic orange chicken. So I didn't account for everything that I was doing today. So even though you saw this, the first one last week, I'm taping them simultaneously or congruently, whatever the right word is, concurrently, and then live streaming them each week. Just easier to do all the prep, everything all at once, and just do one big meal prep session than it is to do the mess 3 times and the cleanup and everything. So this one just gets half the carrots and some onions. Okay, so I just sliced all the onions, so I'm just going to quickly cut those up a little bit. Where's the knife? I just got going and got all the onions sliced up on the mandolin. Didn't even think about I needed some cubed for the chicken stew, but really no big deal. Okay, so that goes in like that. Here's my chicken stew recipe. Got all my recipes here. So again, last week I explained, but I should explain each week because if you're only tuning in to like one or two of these things, this is the booklet that you have. It's got all the recipes in it. It's got a page, it's got freezer meal tips, so it explains a little bit about getting prepared ahead of time, getting your stuff ready to go, which is what I've done here. I chopped up all the peppers, I chop up all the onions, and get everything ready all at once because it actually goes a lot faster then. As long as I can find the recipe I'm working with. So even though I spent about an hour and a half doing prep, I mean, it still goes a long way. Also, I kind of putter. I do a few things at the same time. I was like tweaking some recipes. I made my lunch. So that was all part of that hour and a half. So you don't necessarily, it wouldn't necessarily take that long to get everything ready. Like if you just sat down, heads down, you know, got chopping, it would be fine. So the chicken stew, what we're doing is we're putting chicken. I don't like cooked celery, so I don't put celery in my recipe. Carrots, potatoes, and then a packet of the seasoning. This is the Homestyle chicken stew seasoning, and that's all that's going into the package. And then when it comes time to cook it, I'll add a couple cups of chicken broth or vegetable broth. Water is fine because this seasoning pack's really good. And then right at the very end, you can add some peas. And because I put these chicken breasts in whole and frozen, what I'll do then is I'll shred it. Once it's cooked, I'll just pop the chicken out really quick, shred it up, and then we're ready to go. All right, so this one I can have, even though it's got a little bit of dairy in the actual seasoning packet, I will eat a bit if I'm feeling good. I have an intolerance, not an allergy, to dairy and eggs, and I can eat them in very, very low quantities sometimes. Okay, so that one's all shaken up, ready to go. It'll go in the freezer. And we're done with recipe number 2. So now we're going to do the tropical pineapple chicken. Let me just grab my recipe. I didn't go in, I'm not going in order of how I have the recipes in the booklet. You can do whatever is easiest for you. I'm just kind of doing it how it makes sense for the mess, really. And so, just need to grab another bag. And also I explained last week, I actually like using these disposable bags. I will clean them after, I don't just dispose them after this use. I just found that they work a lot better for the freezer meals than these reusable ones. The zippers just, I mean, maybe you have better luck than I have if you've got those. The zippers just aren't fantastic for me. And I didn't like to write on them because then it stayed in permanent marker. But if I put like tape on it, the tape always froze and came off. So I just honestly stopped using it. It was just easier. So the tropical pineapple chicken, another really yummy, really easy meal. This one's gonna be a sheet pan meal, and I've got my chicken all chopped up here. So into the bag it goes. I got all the meal, everything prepped ahead of time. So I did, you know, I do all my veggies first, and then it's great because it's like all your carrots are done, all your peas are done, all your onions and peppers are all done, ready to go. You just grab them and what you need. I then, you know, do my meat up. So all my beef I do at the same time, then all the chicken I do at the same time, and I clean in between to keep everything good. So what's going into this tropical pineapple chicken is bell pepper. I've got red and green, so I'm going to put them both in. It equals about 1. I don't mind putting extra vegetables in my stuff anyways. We love vegetables. Small red onion diced goes in there. I'm looking at my recipes off the screen here if you're wondering what the heck I'm doing. Snap peas, a couple cups of those go in. And then a can of pineapple chunks. So I'm going to put that in last because I'll put the seasoning in first just so the sauce kind of runs down around it. Tropical pineapple chicken is what's going into this one. If you're new to Epicure, you may not know that all of our products are very low sodium. And so if you need to, you can just add salt to taste. You can add a bit now when you're putting this together, or just add it when you're cooking the meal up. And then this one also needs a couple tablespoons of coconut oil. I forgot to bring out. You know what? I'm just going to use olive oil. Doesn't matter. The coconut oil, just to give it a little bit of a tropical flavor. I'm just going to use olive oil because it's right here what I have on hand. 2 tablespoons of that. As you can see, I'm not a measurer all the time. I'm kind of like a wing it, eyeball it, close enough kind of a girl. Okay, and then the pineapple. And then it's just a can of pineapple chunks. Okay, and so that goes in on top. And that's it. You're done. We're done. You shake this one all up. And it's ready to go. This one's going to be a sheet pan meal. You're going to thaw it overnight in the fridge. Pour it out onto a sheet pan. Cook it. It's going to cook fast, like 12 minutes or something. What's it say? Yeah, 425 for about 16 minutes till the chicken's cooked through. This one, I did smaller chunks of chicken, so it might even cook faster. Probably will cook faster. And then you just serve it with some rice and you're set. That's it. We're ready to go. So that's today's session. Very quick, unfortunately. Like I said, I did not plan my chicken very well. So yeah, I just double checked. So that's it. So today we made tropical pineapple chicken, chicken bacon ranch casserole, and chicken stew. And those are all ready for the freezer. And then the chicken stew will go in the crock pot. Chicken bacon ranch is a oven. You just have to reheat it. And then the tropical chicken is a sheet pan meal. So a couple different ways to cook everything. Super delicious. You're gonna love it. And yeah, so that's it for today. Stay tuned for next week because we're doing the beef and the pork recipes, and they're gonna be equally delicious. So you guys take care. See you soon.